Okay, I want to rant about something. People today, mainly kids, this is gonna be about relationships. Okay, I'm I'm happily in a relationship right now. Um, I've been with him for over a year. Um, and I I get comments like, "Oh, how did you manage to?" Sorry, there's something on the camera. Much better. I get comments like, "Oh, you guys are so great. How do you do it? How do you stay together that long? Blah blah blah." Hold on, I'm just gonna put in my little bow here to keep my hair out of my face. But it's a constant like, "Oh, how do you do it? How do you like basically how do you make it last?" I don't think people really understand that when you're dating somebody, you're not dating them to pass time. You're not, having these feelings to just give up one day. Excuse me. You're in a relationship to share your life with someone, okay? And the confusing thing for kids is that I've seen, and now I'm 19, so I'm not old, I'm not young. Um, but I've had my fair share of assholes and things of that nature. One of my biggest issues is when someone asks me for relationship advice about a guy, my whole thing is if you like him, go for it. Go ahead, try and date. The point of dating is to get to know the person to see if you're compatible for a future relationship. That's that's the point. And when you're doing that, you shouldn't be fooling around with other people. You shouldn't be going off and doing things with other girls or other guys or anything like that, because you're basically trying to see if you have a potential future with somebody. Okay? When you're just meeting a guy, okay? Here's how to tell your assholes from your good guys. It's hard to tell once it's like you're young, you're first getting into guys, your first boyfriend. You are going to have heartbreaks. It's going to happen. No, it's not the end of the world, and it sucks. It really does. But keep in mind, and I've always done this. This has always been my thing. I'm faithful. I've never cheated. I don't believe in it because I believe in an equal relationship. If you say you're going to love somebody, you're going to love them, and that's what I stick to. I'm not going to look at some other guy if I'm with my boyfriend and be like, oh my god, he's so gorgeous. Because to be quite frank, I'm only attracted to him. That's how my mind works. I mean, yeah, when I was younger, I'd look at, while I was with my very first boyfriend, I would look at other guys and be like, oh my god, I wish he was him. And you shouldn't. It's bad. But to tell your assholes from your good guys, the way they dress, first of all, okay? I know never judge a book by its cover, never. But if you're going to go for a guy who's hanging his pants low, he's wearing see-through shirts all the time, basically walking like he's a thug. It's right off the bat, you should know that he's bad news. He's not going to be a good boyfriend. He's not going to be a good friend. Things of that nature. Now, a guy who holds himself and he'll tuck in his shirt, he'll wear a belt when he needs to. He won't sag his pants and things like that. That's something to look for, because then you know he's respecting his self-image enough to be able to hold himself to a higher standard than sagging his pants. Another thing, if you are just getting into a relationship with a guy and you're right off the bat talking about your future and how you're going to be married and how many kids you're having, odds are it's not going to happen. And I've seen it happen so many times. And it's happened to me. So I this is all from what I think from my experiences. And it doesn't work. With the guy I'm with now, he has taught me so many different things about relationships and a mutual love, which I have never had before him. The guy I'm with now has shown me a tremendous amount of mutual love that I had never had. I had been constantly cheated on with previous boyfriends and whatnot, and it was just, it wasn't fun. I feel that your mentality as a kid when you're getting into relationships is we don't think like, oh, we're going to do this for the future, we're going to do that. We basically have like, we're basically thinking of someone we want to spend time with, that we don't want to be alone, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't really think things through, which is why I feel like a lot of high school relationships never really work, because you are very, very immature at that time. And I mean, half of us go for the assholes in class that are screaming above the teacher, trying to be funny when they're not funny at all. It's hard to stay away from the charmers, and the charmers are always the one that gets, they're always getting their way. They're always getting on the inside. They get into your brain. They'll tell you all this nice, pretty stuff. They'll tell you, oh, you're so gorgeous, you're this, you're that. And then a day later, and oh, God, they'll ask you for photos of yourself. Hopefully you understand what I mean, because I'm not going to say it like right out, like, no. But they'll ask for photos. And that is not the route you want to go down. I'm not kidding. Stay away from those guys. The guys that'll ask you, what are your plans for the future? What do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself in a job, college? Guys who will ask you questions like that are like, they're the ones to look out for. They're the ones to be like, oh yeah, you care. Like what I'm gonna be as a person instead of what I'm wearing under my shirt. I feel it's kind of hard to talk about, because then when I talk about this, I think back to when I had my very first boyfriend, which it was just bad. It really was. He was not nice or very loving. it was just one of those things where he just wanted it in. And it happens. I'm hoping by any girls reading this, you'll see this and you'll be like, okay, maybe I'm not with a guy who deserves me. Because so many girls, excuse my computer for being retarded, but there's so many girls that end up with guys who hit them. And I mean, I've had an ex of mine hit me. By my house there's a dog park, and I like going to walk by the dog park because at the dog park there's an actual park and a playground, and I like to go to the playground. And we were coming back from the playground, and I like shoved him playfully. I don't remember what I said, but I shoved him playfully, and then he just, I don't know what it was, but he snapped and he hit me. And I freaked out. I was like, what just happened? Like, it hurt. Like, it was enough to make me like, oh my god, like, it hurt. And I had never been hit by a guy before until then. And it scared me. And of course, it didn't last, like, at all after that. But, like, never settle for less than what you want. Because if you have your standards, I don't want to say never go lower than your standards because no one wants a picky bitch. But it's not about going lower than your standards. It's more like the guy that fits them the best. Okay. The guy I'm with now. Okay. I never thought in my entire life I would end up with a guy that I truly thought suited me. And he does. He makes me laugh. We always have fun. And we're best friends. We really are. We do everything together. We support each other. We're always there for each other. And I think he's actually trying to text me. And I feel bad because I'm like ignoring him. But it's a mutual thing, which every relationship should be. So as a kid, I mean, instead of worrying about a relationship when you're a kid, why, instead of doing that, which I didn't do this, I was never one for partying or whatever. But go out and be a kid before you start trying to be an adult. You don't need to worry about boys in high school because there's always going to be boys around you. Always. Okay? There's no need to grow up too quickly and try and create a future that odds are won't work out. The bottom line is be happy. Be happy with the person you're with. Be happy with the person you are. And don't let a guy bring you down or a girl bring you down. Cause I know some pretty nasty girls out there too. I'm sorry, I was just kind of focused on what guys to look out for, just simply because that's what I've done, is because I'm into guys. But, when it comes down to it, you need to focus more on, especially when it comes to relationships, if you do decide it's something you want to spend your time on and efforts on, get somebody who you feel is worth it, number one, who would have a mutual feeling connection with you. And basically, just be faithful. Be faithful. That's a big one because I've heard so many stories about cheating and stuff nowadays, which I don't condone. I don't condone cheating at all. Sorry this video is so long. I rant. Like I go on and on when I rant. But if you have any comments, comment. If you like this video, like this video. If you have something you want to chat with me on, I'll make another video for it. So I'll do another rant. So yeah, leave comments, concerns, anything. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Woo!